Captain Peter Cutsey, South Korea. This is my briefing room. I'm back with you in part 2 of Circling to Land. Now, one thing that we didn't talk about in part 1 is that there has been, and for good reasons, a great reluctancy for airlines and agencies such as the FAA and aviation agencies around the world, the reluctancy to allow and this type of maneuver because pilots have not received enough training and in this maneuver, and it happens to be a visual maneuver once you break off of, let's say, a non-precision approach. And everything is done visually without any reference to database coordinates. And to put it mildly, strictly eyeballing. And this really is the reason why aviation agencies around the world, especially the FAA, have not approved of this type of maneuver to many airports. So we at Lat Long Global have been doing this, designing since 1985 under Lat Long Inc. and now Lat Long Global. And we have been actually proving the accuracy of what could happen in the future if aviation agencies hired Lat Long Global to join forces and start a form of training in simulators whereby pilots and airlines would fly these approaches designed by Lat Long Global and inserted in an offsite database for 3 months or 6 months. And once they've received approval by the aviation agency in the country they're in, we, Lat Long Global, would insert the data into the database. And the data that I am talking about is the data you see on the sheet here. It's grayed out here for obvious reasons because it's copyrighted information to my company. And that's as we mentioned in part 1, Google Earth is extremely accurate in the positioning of coordinates. And that's why I've used it to show this picture all the way around of what we're actually going to be doing. So without further ado, we're going to move on now to a live, and we are back on monitor 2, and this is our position here. We have tuned the first officer's ILS, and he would be in the approach mode just for reference for a map check when we're inbound. We'll come back to that later. Here we are here on the map, and here the first officer has the localizer tuned for map check later. This is an important feature of part of the training that we would do. So let's go ahead and intercept the extended center line of Sokov. Quick look at Sokov. Here's Sokov up here. We're over here, and we are going to intercept a direct intercept to Sokov to the northwest. I've drawn a 2 nautical mile circle around the top of the center for Sokov so that we can actually initiate the 8 items that we talked about in our briefing. So we are established at flaps 5, and we are at the flaps 5 speed. We've got the flight path vector here also, and as you know, we've got it on HUD. Now we can go ahead and arm LNAV, and it's armed, and our eyes come up here, and we happen to have captured or engaged LNAV for that track. I'm going to leave the heading bug here in case there's any anomalies, and then once we are sure that we're inbound on the 126 track, I'll move the heading bug to 126. Let's have a look outside again. And if we go to the other monitor, we can see our position here. So once we start turning and we know that we will have a correct intercept, we will go over and look at the first officers. Okay, we are turning now, so we can go ahead and set that heading bug to 126. And just because I'm by myself, and we'll talk more about this later, I'm going to set the MDA to 900 feet, which is part of the maneuver, as we mentioned before. There we go with respect to the first officer's localizer for the runway 13 right in Abu Dhabi. So the map checks. We've got a good map check so we can actually use it. I have preset 900 feet, which is, we'll just pop over and have a look at the minimum for circling 850 plus 50 feet, 900 feet. So we're back. Many items have to be accomplished when we get to that 2 nautical mile circle, and I recommend that users would draw that. And the first item is to make sure that the minimum is set on the MCP, and we've done that. I'm going to do it ahead of time because I'm by myself here in the simulator, so that's number 1. Number 2 is over here we should be in VNAV path. The next items will be the gear down, flaps 15, speed brakes arm, set the bug to flaps 15 speed, and open the speed window. And then set the missed approach. We won't set the missed approach yet because this procedure is different in that other things have to happen. And we'll have a look at that shortly. We do have our minimum set on the barrel also. Alright, so the MCP is at 900 and the barrel is set at 900. So let's go ahead and start configuring now just a little early because, like as I mentioned, I am by myself. Gear down, flaps 15. Flaps 15 speed set. And speed brakes aren't.